Welcome back to a Feisty Fair Business. My name is Myalgic, and today's video includes Pierre, as always. You want some food? You want a treat? Can't have all of it. You can have half there. Today's video is actually going to be about what it's like to have pets and look after pets when you have a disability. So, for full transparency and honesty, I have been diagnosed with ME, or also known as chronic fatigue syndrome, and I'm also autistic. I have some mental illnesses, and I'm currently being investigated for a condition known as POTS, which is, in very, very basic terminology, when your blood pressure and heart rate screw up when you stand up or rise. They may fall, they may go up a lot, and causes a lot of symptoms which can include fainting. In general, just so the CSS is definitely the main one. I've been diagnosed for just over a couple months, but I've had it since last year. Hello, you want it? You want it? You want a treat? Yeah, it's been a rough journey, and I've had my ferrets the entire time. I've had before I became disabled. I was lucky enough, I say lucky, I've got a disabled sister, and I have friends who are disabled in various degrees of severity, so I have been able to see how they cope with their symptoms, and just be a bit more aware of, disabilities in general, because before I didn't know much about them. I didn't know much about the types of illnesses there are and how they affect you and all that. But today's video is about that. It's about how I look after animals while handling my disability, because there's this idea in some parts of the pet community that if you are disabled you can't have animals because you can't look after them. And that's just blatantly false. The issue is that a lot of disabling disorders or conditions are, one, they're usually variable. Some days are better than others, and some conditions will get worse and then get better and then stabilise, or they may get worse after you exert yourself more than usual, and it's hard to, you can't exactly say this person has this condition and therefore they're incapable. There are definitely in some cases, like some people with ME are definitely on a very, very severe end of it, where they are bedbound. Obviously, if you're bedbound, you can't look after any pets because you can't even look after yourself, and that's okay. I'm not saying that everyone with a disability can have a pet, because some people just can't, and that's okay. But to say that everyone with a disability or any condition can't look after an animal is just unfair. It has taken me already quite a while to learn to slowly manage my own conditions. When it comes to ferrets specifically, I would say they're fairly easy for me to look after. I haven't had many animals, obviously, but with ferrets, in fact, one of the things is obviously that they sleep a lot. It's not like some animals where they are up for the majority of the day, so you need to give them more attention. But also because it's one of the reasons why I actually ended up getting Balthazar as well, is the fact that they're easier to look after when there's more than one, because they entertain each other, and obviously I still play with them, but they entertain each other a lot more easily, and they play with each other, and it just takes a bit of pressure off me as to play with one and give him 100% of my attention when he can play Balthazar and I can rest for a bit. Also, by giving him a lot of different options, like different tunnels and tubes and a ball pen, toys listed around and everything, and scratching posts and cat trees, it gives them options to play different things, while if I am having a bad day, I can just sit back, essentially just watch and interact when they come over to me, and just rest of it. Obviously I do have to get up and do things, and cleaning their cage is quite exhausting, but I tend to leave that at the beginning of their free roam time so that it's over and done with. Or if I'm having a really bad day, I might have to leave it for one day and then come back the next day, but it'll always get done. I keep obviously their food and water and all. I keep everything in one room so I don't have to travel across the apartment to get something. It's just a lot of basic things that honestly I did anyway, but now it's more important. Animals will always come first. They didn't choose, you know, to be here. You know, I think if you get an animal, you have to know that whatever circumstances you have or how they change, the animals come first. If you are becoming disabled or ill or have a condition that is getting worse, and you feel you're getting to a point where you are not able to give your animals the standard of life and the quality of life that they deserve and need, there is absolutely no harm and no shame in looking into rehoming your animal. It's what's best for them, it's what's best for you, because it's just unfair. And if I ever got to a point like that, which I don't think I will, but if I ever got to a point where I am bedbound and unable to get up and play with them and feed them, I would have to look into rehoming, and that's okay. But most disabled people are very good at self-managing. You know, we can manage our symptoms, we can manage how we exert ourselves, and we know ourselves better than some random strangers online do. Yeah, don't buy my laptop. And as a result, it's just unfair to make blanket statements about the entire disabled community. It's also important that, like, when you make blanket statements on someone that online, you don't know if they are disabled or not, as in a lot of disabilities are invisible. Autism is invisible for one, but also ME or CFS is invisible. I mean, sometimes if I'm having a bad pain day, I will use a walking stick or a knee brace, but even then I do get the odd eye occasionally for using it in public, and I'm still working on my confidence with using my mobility aids in public. But in general, you can't tell just by looking at someone if they are disabled or not. So making a statement on, you know, this person shouldn't look after animals, shouldn't have animals because they're disabled. It's like, well, first of all, you don't know if it's just a lot of brain fog. You just don't know, and it's just generally really rude and stereotypical to make blanket statements about entire communities that are just blatantly false. If you are disabled and you have an animal, it's safe to assume, unless proved otherwise, that person knows what they're doing, has done their research, knows how to manage themselves, their conditions alongside the animal, and you know, you shouldn't be butting in unless there's obvious evidence that they are abusing or neglecting their animal. And in that case, you know, that's different, but unless there's evidence or whatever, then you should not be getting involved. Someone's disability is their private life. I don't talk about mine often, really, not online at least. And this is the first time I'm mentioning it on this channel, I believe, so. And it's just not something that's important to talk about, It's just not something that you should be taking consideration when you're watching, so oh, this person is disabled, therefore they're clearly treating their pet wrong. It's like, no, they're not. That's my unhinged rant for today. Sorry this video was so all over the place. I was going to make it more structured, but my mind's a bit foggy right now. Brain fog, one of the symptoms. I generally recommend looking into in general, just disabled people can have pets. We are just as capable as everyone else. If anything, we understand more the care and nurture that goes into having an animal, because we have to look after ourselves just that extra bit more, don't we? Yeah. But yeah, that's all for today's video. I'm gonna go off now because I am very tired and I need to rest, but I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.